Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. We are the Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
You can call me Cloud.
And I'm Landon.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, or joining our Discord. Let's get on with the show.
So, I don't know about these guys. I'm wearing all black today for the funeral.
Oh, I'm just for the funeral, too.
Oh, okay. All right.
Don't worry.
What funeral?
We're all here for the funeral of the Wii U.
May God rest its soul.
R.I.P. Workers International Industrial Union.
True.
So,
Did you add the space finally?
No, I did not. I always format the Wii U as one word. But
that is factually incorrect.
it's phonetically incorrect is the actual term you're looking for. Anyway,
No, it's
the Wii U.
It's also factually incorrect.
The Wii U is Nintendo's home console released in 2012 in North America, specifically on November 18th. And the Wii U has a lot worth talking about. So it sold 13.5 million units roughly worldwide. Nice, cold, solid, worst home console seller in Nintendo's backlog of consoles. So that's something we can maybe get into. But I think one aspect of it that's really well known is its jam pad. The gamepad.
Who is Jampad?
Who is Jampad?
Who is Jampad?
So
The eternal question.
the Wii U did not really last very long. It was discontinued at the end of January in 2017, which means, technically speaking, Nintendo did not have a console for one whole month.
It's true.
Very weird month that was. And interestingly enough, the time that we're doing this podcast, they had just recently announced the end of repairs for this system. And earlier in the year, there was online connectivity that was cut from it, as well as the Nintendo 3DS. So we've actually gotten to a point where the Wii U is literally totally unsupported now. So what we're talking about with the Wii U today is pretty much, I mean, if we don't want to toot our own horns, I guess we don't have to say that there's all that's ever needed to be said about the Wii U in this podcast. Somehow we're going to squeeze that into about an hour and a half discussion. But
I think we can do that.
I think we have quite a lot that we could talk about with the system, because mainly this was, and I said this to Landon before we started, but this was the last, or not rather last, the first system, I would argue, where all of us were not only really fully able to experience the console, but also because we were pretty much, we were all adults, we were able to have really informed and mature and thought out opinions, I think, on that console without looking in retrospect. Like, we could actually just absorb it in that moment. So it's going to be an interesting...
It's still like relatively fresh in our memories.
Yes. So thank you all for joining us as we jump into this discussion about the Wii U. We've got Jack and Landon here as usual with me. So I want to kick it to you guys, and I want to say, I just want to ask, first of all, we all have owned or own Wii U. So, like, we have a lot of experience with the system. So I want to actually ask what caused you to buy the Wii U specifically. And, I mean, even if it's just kind of like there's like a story time that doesn't have a whole lot of meaning behind it, or maybe there's like a lot of thought that you put into it. Let's hear it. I want to give the floor to you guys.
Which one do you want to hear about first? This Wii U or this Wii U?
I think you can talk about them both when you decide you want to talk about, like, just at once.
You can start if you want to.
No, go ahead, Jack. We're not gonna go out of turn. I just want to ask the question.
Okay. Well, I bought a Wii U about a year after it came out, and technically, Cloud, on your original point that we were all adults, I was 17 when the Wii U released in 2012. But I bought it like a year after it came out because I didn't have a strong urge to buy it right away because there wasn't really anything on it that was like, I need to own this system for this game. And it would continue to not have that because of how Microsoft screwed over Ubisoft and, well, more like Ubisoft caved to Microsoft and delayed Rayman Legends from February of 2013 to September. So I didn't end up getting a Wii U until like November, and it was the first time I had ever bought a system completely with my own money, because I had just recently gotten a job and I had the money to buy it, so I wanted to buy it, and also I wanted to play Rayman Legends. So that was what I bought with it. I bought the black 32 gigabyte model that comes with Nintendo Land, and then a copy of Rayman Legends. I bought it from Target.
Okay.
It was, in fact, I actually, you know what? Fun fact, it was exactly 1 week before I joined GamingStooges. Literally,
the
like...
catalyst.
Yeah. It was November 1st, 2017. Or, 2017, excuse me, 2013. Further back than that.
Okay. So, as for me, I'll say that I was the last of the three of us to get it. I admittedly was not, and we'll get into, we'll when we get broader discussion. I wasn't the most excited for this new system, but as I am a big fan of the Super Smash Bros. Series, even though they were coming out with a 3DS version, I wanted to play the newest home console version. So when they announced Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, also that was what they announced first, technically. They didn't really let on that there was a 3DS version until a little later. I really needed the next console. So my friend and I had bought it, and we got Mario Kart 8, and we got Super Mario 3D World, so we got ourselves a couple of the big, really good games for it at the time. This was just after Mario Kart 8 had been released, by the way, because this was like mid to late 2014. Like, it was after the release of Mario Kart 8, but before Super Smash Bros. For Wii U had come out. And that's basically it. I used it mostly as a machine to play some of those games you just could not play anywhere else. Like, it was Wii U exclusive for me pretty much all the way. So I'll admit I'm probably like gonna be the guy that's not in the middle, but like on one end of the spectrum here when we get into the broader discussion of our experience. So I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. But as opposed to the guy on the other end of that spectrum, I'd like to give Landon the floor, because he's got not one, but two Wii U systems to talk about.
So we got this one first. This one, which is... technically, it's a Wii U. I'll just go ahead and...
It was once a Wii U.
We'll just throw that down on the ground. That was my launch... day of launch purchase. I did that. I bought it. I was working for a unnamed company at the time.
It was...
that was bleeped out. Thank you. And I had money, so I bought it. And that's, I mean, why? I believe Runner 2 had already been announced at that point. And
Runner 2 was
for the Wii U.
Runner 2 was like one of the first like non-launch Wii U games.
Yeah,
like,
but I believe it had been like announced that it was coming to to the Wii U, like, and so I was like, well, sold. So I'm pretty sure BitTrip Presents Runner 2 Future Legend of Rhythm Alien is the console seller to me, if I recall correctly. I stand by that.
Okay.
So yeah, I picked that up, even though I could have gotten it like on the PS3. I chose not to. Actually, technically, the PS3 wasn't mine at the time.
Yeah, that is true. And it was the only, I think it was the only other system you had access to that was going to get it. And
yeah,
you being a Nintendo fan, you were like, I can just get the new system.
I have disposable income, right, for the, like, literally seconds from the purchase of this until
after you stop walking out of the store with...
until my untimely demise. I got better. So yeah, that is why I purchased that Wii U. This one, on the other hand, that is sitting on the desk, actually, because I am currently using it. I don't know who fucking bought this at first, but I own it now. Because the one that's sitting on the ground, died. And I can't be without being able to play The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD.
Yeah, so I want to build off that point real quick before we get into broader discussions. This is probably the best chance just to plug this in. So I mentioned earlier that the internet and the repairs are donezo for the Wii U. So like the Wii U is completely, utterly not a thing Nintendo supports in any way, shape, or form anymore. It is completely, just done. But the year before was when they decided they were rolling back the internet connectivity for the Wii U as well as the 3DS. And that was when they were like, okay, you can re-download your software and you can re-download whatever you got. However, you can't buy new software, or like you can't get new software off the eShop. You can download updates. So it was basically just connecting to the stuff you already got. So I was like, hey, Landon, you might want to make sure you hop on before the Wii U doesn't allow you to get on there anymore, and just, grab whatever you got, because I reminded him like the date. He was like, yeah, I should do that. And he went to go do that, and that's when he found out, for some reason, the system just bricked.
It was like trying to do an update, and it like stopped.
That's what'll do it to you.
Yeah.
When a system is mid-update, it can brick if it ends up for whatever reason. It's not like you did anything. That's just what happened.
Yeah, and now it won't display on TVs and whatnot, so I had to go buy a second one. Thousands of dollars lost.
Yeah.
Lost to time.
So let's work off of that. So the Wii U, while it no longer has this functionality, I think it can be argued the Wii U had probably the most robust of Nintendo's online offerings for just like features and different things you can access. Outside of the fact that the Wii U had like the channels or whatever, but like the Wii U had Miiverse. It had a very clean and very well organized eShop. Probably the best one that we had out of all of the systems.
Definitely the best one we had.
Yeah. I will say the biggest thing about the eShop for the Wii U is it did take longer to load in, but that's because it had personality.
Yeah, it had some more like we'll say complicated visuals. Not like complicated to like, but just like intensive for the system. But it was nice.
It had fun music too.
It did.
Yeah.
It was no Wii Shop channel music, but like it had fun music, and it wasn't the same song every time. It like every like
they
week,
updated it.
They updated it, and like it was like every week or every month there would be a new song. And it was always nice. And it was just like super fast, super easy to navigate. Like the search function is really helpful. You can search by like genre, you can search by console or like original console release. Can't do any of that shit on the Switch.
There was also it was a lot easier to get into like a, building off of what you said, to search for stuff like Virtual Console as opposed to like actual Wii U titles, stuff like that, because that was one of the systems where they were still differentiating that. Because the Switch does not have that. Like, yeah, they have a lot of classic titles, but Nintendo offers theirs through a separate like series of apps and the third-party ones that aren't supported, which is everything but Genesis, you basically have to know that the game exists and what its name is, and then you can get like the whatever retro port that they've got up on the eShop. So it's not as like well sectioned as the Wii U's eShop was. The Wii U had a pretty detailed like sorting system, and I wanted to build off of that just to kind of like talk about the positives of the Wii U, because we are going to be going into some of the not so positives later, but there are things
I don't know what you're talking about.
There are things about the Wii U that I think are a little commendable, and I wanted to give the floor to like whoever wanted to like start off building off of what we were talking about or adding in a new aspect to that.
You could also navigate the eShop through the fucking touchpad on the jam pad, and that was nice.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say.
That's it. Nothing about the games or the.
Nah. That's all. Oh, you could turn on your TV with the gamepad.
That's it. See, that's the reason that Landon bought the Wii U.
Yeah.
I lost my remote.
Did you ever actually use your Wii U as a TV remote?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Landon probably used it the most as a remote. Like I used it a couple times, but.
See, when I was using the Wii U, it was on a TV that was like so old and shitty that it did not have like any sort of TV remote compatibility. Like
oh, wow.
The Wii U, the gamepad did not work on it at all. So
yeah, I didn't realize that your TV at the time didn't have that.
That was back when I used the gigantic 65-inch plasma screen from 2005.
Rip to that TV. That TV is a trooper.
Mm-hmm. Well, it never died. It was just too fucking big.
Yeah.
And kind of shit.
The only TV that I had at the time, and I still own the TV, was like my older like tube TV. Mm-hmm. But like any of my HD TVs that I've used have supported it, so I've used it for that purpose.
I used it for mine too, because I had it was the first system that I had 100% had an HD TV for, because just before I had gotten a Wii U, I had got a new TV at the time in order to actually take advantage of the visuals for my PS3. Because my PS3, I was using an old tube TV. It was a flat screen, but it was still CRT TV, and I could not see the font for shit for certain games, like Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II. The text was super blurry. So eventually, I ended up getting a 720p Sanyo HD TV, and those things are thick. And they were really popular and common at the time. Those Sanyo TVs.
What year was this?
So I got mine in the TV that I was using in like 2013, like late 2013. I think the TV itself though was like 2009-ish, because I remember that my mom had it before it was passed to me. After they had upgraded their TV, so I got the Sanyo.
Oh, I've seen these before.
They're so common, right? They were like everywhere.
Yeah, like my grandma had one of those.
Those things were reliable, I won't lie. That was the first, so the Wii U was actually the first TV that I had that TV anyway, from the outset. So like I was able to take advantage of the HD functions of my TV for an HD console throughout the time that I had it, unlike with the PS3 where it was like half and half. It was weird. So I think the Wii U was pretty formative. It was released at a pretty formative time for technology speaking, at least. TV remote, pretty useful. I liked the fact that the Wii U was always bundled with a game. There was always like some combination of game that you could get. I had Nintendo Land.
Unless you bought the original white version. That released, because that did not have bundle. But if you got the black version at launch, it did have Nintendo Land.
Right, and they did. I don't remember when they did it, and it could have been a little bit later than I'm thinking. But I know they eventually dropped the original bundle, the base bundle that they had. I don't remember when it was, but like, I know at one point they had pretty much were just selling the deluxe bundle, quote unquote.
Because there's no reason to buy the other one.
Yeah. I mean, the other one was not much more expensive, and eventually they just had the price at that was when I think they basically had phased it out when they cut the price, because the Wii U was originally $350 for the deluxe bundle, and then they dropped the price to $299, which was the price of the regular bundle, and then they just got rid of the regular bundle, which was smart. Like, might as well, right? But that one came
fucking
with
8 gigabytes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, the deluxe having 32 gigabytes of internal memory or whatever it was. That sounds right. Is that right?
Yep.
You did research.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going based off of, like, my personal knowledge.
Yeah. 32 gigabytes.
Yeah, is, like, not a whole lot.
It's not. It's
especially,
not.
The fun thing about the original deluxe bundle is they had an incentive for folks that if they purchased digital currency, they got kickback. It was like for 2 years, if you were like an original, like if you purchased the system, like originally.
Oh, now that I think about it, I think that's what like kind of inspired like the coin system that they use for the Switch now, huh?
It is definitely very similar to what they do for the coin system, and it's part of the reason why I went really heavy on digital, because why wouldn't I take advantage of that?
I remember for a long while, the only 3 Wii U games you had physically were Nintendo Land, the Wind Waker HD, and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Yes, and another fun fact, I'm sure I brought it up before, somewhere in our years of content, but I pre-ordered the Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed before I even knew I was buying a Wii U, and I pre-ordered it for the Wii U.
Yep.
And then I bought a Wii U.
You were just like, I'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I'll get a Wii U eventually. I just want the game.
Yeah.
It had what, some bonus character.
Yeah,
for was it Metal exclusive. Sonic?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. So I was like, oh, I might as well just buy it because I know I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to want that character.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I can get it, post launch. And I was just like, all right. Oh, I guess I'm getting a Wii U on launch. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that, like, some of the games were definitely defining, like, reasons to have a Wii U. Because, like, I got New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Or, not Deluxe. New Super Mario Bros. U. In my bundle. That was the bundle that my friend and I had gotten. And then we bought the Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 8 as well, like, on the side. So we had technically 4 Wii U games, like, as soon as we got the system. I did not actually get to play a whole lot of Nintendo Land, but I know that you guys.
Oh my goodness,
that's a shame.
Yeah,
dude. Nintendo Land is. I'm so serious. Nintendo Land in like a room full of friends is such a good time.
It's a great time. I'm so fucking glad I bought, for no other reason than I would have like monthly or bi-weekly like game get-togethers with friends at the time, because I was still living where I went to high school, and so like we were just like a lot of us were getting out of high school, and a lot of us were still around, and so I would just, hey, let's fucking get together. We'll do like multiple things. We were playing Nintendo Land and Chasing Aurora and Sonic. All-Stars Racing Transformed were like 3 of the big ones we would play multiplayer. Nintendo Land was fucking fantastic. It gave us It
gave us it
because one of my friends had to create a Mii for the Wii U,
and they made the most god awful creation known to man.
it is the byproduct of that, and I love it. And like there was some really good, especially got to shout out Mario Chase.
Mario Chase. I'm gonna post
Chase.
I'm gonna post the original picture of it in the spoilers.
Mario Chase is so fun.
Yeah, so if
when you have a full group.
Yeah, so if you want to get
Chase,
if you want to get full context,
Animal Crossing Sweet Day,
for this creature, you can join our Discord. We've got links to that in the show notes, descriptions, everywhere on our profiles.
It truly cannot be described.
Yeah, you really have to see it to believe it.
It's an alien creature that is as short as possible and as fat as possible, with a gigantic nose, big sparkly eyes, and pigtails, and it has a buck tooth.
Yeah, it is incredible.
And freckles.
And freckles.
It's it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's it.
So, let's get into more of the games. What are some other games that you guys really liked on the Wii U?
One of the best Wii U games is honestly Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. What a fucking great 2D platformer.
You mean that absolutely 3 out of 10?
Who said it was a 3 out of 10?
Was it GameSpot that gave it the 3 out of 10?
Oh no, they gave it like a 6, but
was
like
it only a 6? I thought
no. It wasn't the score that was bad. It was just like the dude that reviewed it was just complaining about a lot of unfair difficulty spikes when the game is
fair.
Really not that hard. Like
it was really hard.
This is like the IGN Cuphead review.
But like honestly, yeah, that was like the only reason they didn't like it, and people were like pissed off because they only gave it like a 6.
I thought they gave it way lower, but you know.
The vibes were there, weren't they?
I wonder if the meta page for Tropical Freeze is still up for the Wii U.
Probably. It should be. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be.
It has an 83 on Metacritic. Yeah, no, it doesn't have any negative reviews.
Okay.
So just it was the mixed review there.
Yeah.
So
I was just, because of his comment, I guess, I was thinking it should have been a 3 out of 10 or something.
Did you have any others that you wanted to mention besides Tropical Freeze?
Pikmin 3 is an amazing video game. Yoshi's Woolly World is a classic. It had the original Super Mario Maker. It had the original Splatoon. It had, Mario Kart 8, obviously. Mario 3D World.
So, I would definitely say one big one before you list off like every Wii U exclusive. At least that was exclusive at the time. Listen. But I wanted to say Bayonetta 2 is definitely like a big one for me. Obviously, a lot of these would end up getting ported to the Switch. And Landon's going to name Landon is going to name a few more, I'm sure. But Bayonetta 2 is the big one for me. Jack mentioned most of the others, though, like Mario Maker, Splatoon was a big one. I mean, Splatoon managed to carve its own piece of like Nintendo's mainstays off of the most unsuccessful console they ever had.
That's just how powerful Splatoon is.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a good game that, like, it debuted on the Wii U and is still, like, one of their best-selling franchises right now.
Yeah. It was a game that I remember a lot of people purchasing a Wii U for just to try, because a lot of people, especially in, like, the competitive shooter scene, were, like, trying it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was very unique and fun.
It was fun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Very fun.
So Splatoon is definitely a game among several games I think that could probably be argued that are worth like just talking a decent amount about for this podcast as like a defining thing. So before we actually jump into that, Landon, I do want to hear some of the additional Wii U titles I think that are like defining for you, because I'm sure you have a few to mention that we didn't already get to.
Oh God. I did say Chasing Aurora. Mighty Switch Force, Hyperdrive Edition. I'd mentioned Runner 2. Affordable Space Adventure. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE.
That's the big one I was thinking about.
We've got Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I forgot about Xenoblade X.
Yeah, that one's still exclusive.
That one is still exclusive as of this podcast.
I mean, there's all of the Zeldas that released on it. So Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, both got HD re-releases. You had Hyrule Warriors, which Jack canonically sold his soul to the devil for.
It's true. Well, not to the devil. I just sold my soul to Hyrule Warriors. I wrote a fake check for it and put it in the case for Hyrule Warriors.
I remember that.
It's the same thing. The devil is Hyrule Warriors.
Because I one day decided I'm going to just start playing Hyrule Warriors a shit ton, and I did. Not like
Hyrule Warriors was a lot of fun.
It wasn't like an unhealthy amount. I think I only played it for like 150 hours, but like it was somewhere up there.
Just going back to naming games, Breath of the Wild.
True.
I played the Wii U version. I did that.
I didn't mention Breath of the Wild because I did not play the Wii U version.
I was a trendsetter. Me. I could probably really... Let's see. I played It'll Do 2 on it. I played Unepic on it. No, wait. Did I play It'll Do 2 on it? I think I purchased It'll Do 2 on it. Shovel Knight, Shantae, and the Pirate's Curse. Both of which I played on the Wii U.
I forgot about Shovel Knight. I did play Shovel Knight.
Shovel
on
Knight
Wii U
was
originally.
On like everything. So we use an interesting choice to be the ring bearer, I guess, for you.
Why?
I just think it's an interesting choice. I'm not like attacking you for it. I just think it's an interesting choice.
But why is it interesting?
Because I think it's interesting.
I probably would have said Shovel Knight as well if I remembered it, because I did originally play Shovel Knight.
Does it have like any additional like functionality with that Wii U gamepad to like display extra information or something? Or is it?
I don't think so. I think it maybe just like, I forget if it was just like level progress.
Because that's what I find interesting, is because the Wii U, so we can get into it.
Oh, okay.
The Wii U has a unique feature set, and that is primarily because of the gamepad. The gamepad is the Wii U's controller. They heavily advertise this thing. Unfortunately, they heavily advertised it more than the console itself at first. And that is the reason why this system did not sell too well, because it was very confusing. The Wii U gamepad is like so much of what makes this console what it is. It has a touchscreen. It has the motion control. It has a microphone, a camera. It has gyroscope motion control. I mentioned that. It has
NFC reader.
There it is. That's what I was thinking of. NFC reader. It, as we had talked about before, you can use it as a TV remote. So it's just this weird smorgasbord of like...
You can use it as a TV.
Yeah, like you can use it as a TV because you can play it. So it has to stay within a certain distance from the system, but you can stream the actual game just directly to the Wii U gamepad screen in order to do what they called off-TV play. So like the Wii U it had so many different features crammed in to that gamepad.
You could use it as your TV screen for just playing Wii games.
Yeah.
You could just
because
set it down.
The gamepad has its own built-in sensor bar, so you can actually point the Wii remote at the gamepad and just use it as a TV for Wii games.
That I did not know.
Yeah,
I've done it before.
I've done it before too.
That makes sense though.
Funny.
It's like I think the IR sensors are like right up next to the cameras, right? Because like they're all in that same bar. Because there's like a nice long oval lens thing that you can see, and then you got the little camera. So that makes sense why they had it like that. I did not realize that it had a sensor bar built in. That's really cool. So like it had a whole lot of features crammed in there, and I will say this is a very interesting aspect of the console.
He says interesting, but he means awful.
I don't think it's awful. I think it's a little controversial.
Oh, that's for sure.
I would say so. Like, here's the thing: it has all these.
All right,
features.
what's your true stance on the Wii U system? Let's hear it.
So I think that the Wii U system.
Stop pussyfooting around. Let's go.
So I think that the system itself had a lot of potential going out of the gate, because even though it was still not the most powerful thing out there, it was barely more powerful than the PS3 and Xbox 360 at the time when it was coming out 6 years after. So, like, you know, not the most powerful, but it was powerful enough. And because the Wii U gamepad had all of these features crammed in it, I mean, that did give you a lot of options for additional ways to interact and engage with the games.
It's called asymmetrical gameplay.
Here's the problem, though, that I have with it. One, after very early on into the system's life, a lot of companies dropped support. So there was a lot of possible games that should have come to the Wii U that just never did, almost entirely because the companies didn't want to support the Wii U.
Cowards. That's what we call those people. Cowards.
And despite how robust the gamepad is, it is not the only way to control the Wii U, but it is still, like, technically supposed to be the primary way you use it, and that makes engaging with the Wii U a little bit clunky. And that doesn't help that the gamepad's battery life is the most awful out of any controller with a wireless battery, like, period. Like, this is worse than the DualSense and the DualShock 4 by a long shot.
I sit with mine now just connected to a power outlet.
I was going to say
just a Game Gear.
Yeah,
I was going to say at a certain point, like, the gamepad's battery will, like, deplete to a point where it's just not worth it to not be plugged in.
But also, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to, like, my 100% brutally honest opinion about the Wii U is that it is a system with potential, but just like the marketing, I think they were going in just way too many different directions with this thing. Like, you can technically use their Pro controller, and it is a more standard controller with an unnecessarily long battery life. But there's the problem. It doesn't have all the features of the Wii U gamepad because it's not the Wii U gamepad, and that means that a lot of the stuff that you would want to use a Wii U Pro controller for to just play your games like normally, you can't. You can't. You have to have a gamepad to do certain things. And one of those,
as God intended.
And one of those things is to control the main menu of the Wii U.
Just switch the view to the tiled view, and then you can fucking...
But that's the thing, is that, like, you have to go through
button prompt.
Yeah, you have to go through extra steps to do anything with the Wii U. That is my problem.
It is hit the one button that switches the view.
That adds up, though. Especially with everything else I've said. It adds to my point that the Wii U is clunky to work with.
It saves your preference when...
It didn't do that for me. I had to go in and change it every time. Like, I had to keep hitting the button.
For me, it saved the preference. So
whenever I started up the system, like, I always had to, and I couldn't use the Wii U Pro controller to go into, like, some of like the settings. Like, I had to use, and here's the thing. I remember telling you about this a long time ago, but there was at one point my Wii U gamepad screen, something happened, and most of it broke and cracked. So a large chunk of that gamepad screen was completely unusable. So when I go back to what I was talking about with the whole, like, the interface thing needing the gamepad, I couldn't fix this issue that I had that you were able to fix because I couldn't see the other screen to do so.
Well, anyway, so other games I really liked on this system. Let's see. I mean, that's... Things break.
Then it goes...
I can tell you, because I have a broken Wii U down over there.
Yep. Like, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not responsible for my system breaking. I don't remember what happened.
But I don't know either. I don't remember.
I'm just trying to make the point that I'm trying to make, which is that it's a little clunky to work with. I mean, there's also, if you want to, like, you can. So here's the thing: the Wii U, it is backwards compatible with the Wii, like completely, just 100%.
Not at launch, but yeah.
But you have to
there
go.
Was certain.
You have to go
certain things that you couldn't transfer.
And then you have to go into a separate Wii mode, quote unquote, in order to like go into all of that.
Go Wii mode.
It's not like, obviously it doesn't take that long to like go into, but you have to go into it if you want to access it, and you need to have Wii accessories, obviously, to access them. So, like, I just want you to visualize how much stuff the Wii U interacts with. If let's say you're getting the full experience here. You've got the Wii U's main system, you've got the gamepad, you've got a Wii sensor bar, you've got your Wii remote and nunchuck that you'll be bringing over and using. I believe this came with the actual system and not something I bought separately.
Don't forget the condom for your Wii U.
So you had
remote.
you have
to have the condom.
You got the condom for the Wii remote. You have a stand that the Wii U gamepad can sit in. It's a little cradle stand that I believe came with the system. I don't remember buying it separately. And you can prop up the Wii U gamepad on that.
It does. So there was two stands. I know with the original bundle, there was the charge base stand, and then there was the non-charge base stand.
I was kidding. I had the non-charge base stand. I don't know if I had a charge base stand version.
Yeah, there was two cradles.
Wait, hold on. Maybe I have that mixed. I know I got one stand. I did not get both.
I believe they removed the non-charge cradle because there's literally no point to it.
I think it's probably that, because I vaguely remember I might have charged the... No, I definitely did. No, yeah, okay,
yeah.
You're right. So yeah, I had the charge one because that's when after they had phased out the lower tier one, so they did that. So yeah, I'm not saying that this is absolutely a negative about the Wii U, but it is like, if you're one of those people that likes to have a very compact gaming setup, you just can't do that with the Wii U.
Fuck off, bucko.
Even though the Wii U system is fairly small, because of all the extra stuff that you have to have space for, you need the extra space. Like, you can't like have a nice...
I mean, can we talk about the PS3 needing a DualShock 3 and the condom dildo remote and a fucking...
I mean, that's if you're buying the whole PlayStation Move thing, but that's a thing that you can do separately. Like, you don't even have to have it.
They should make it required. Sony, update the PS3. I know you can.
Update the PS3.
I mean, they do
do it now before it's too late.
They do it now. Make it required, Sony. Make money.
Oh, goodness. But yeah.
Here's a fun little side tangent. It's talking about the dildos. The price of those shot up like exponentially when they announced the VR, because those were required for the VR, the PlayStation VR, the original.
Yeah.
So, want to talk about a system that requires a lot of stuff? That's actually a good one to.
But I mean,
say.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, no, like, so. But getting back to the main point that I want to say is that the Wii U, like, that is my main fault with it. And also, I know this is like a smaller thing, but at least my Wii U for a while, personally, it depended on the game, but the operating system getting in and out of a game could be sluggish sometimes. And I think the most noticeable game for me for that was, I believe, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. It didn't happen with every game, but like sometimes bringing up that like home menu, or in order, or like the menu to go into, like back to the home menu or do all that stuff. Like it's a similar menu from when you would press home for the Wii. Like that would take like it would lag a bit before bringing up that menu, and it was just like something that like a few games, like because of the way that they loaded the games, they had to like constrain the small, because the Wii U does not have a lot of RAM, so it was basically, it had to take away some RAM from the game to bring the operating system back up. Like it was able to do it, but you could tell some games it had to strain itself to do it because of that. I think Breath of the Wild might have been another game that might have caused, but I don't actually have experience with that to know. But where it was a bigger game.
I don't know. I don't remember. I played it and I don't remember.
It's been a long time since the Wii U had relevance, since we're talking about it 7 years into the Switch's lifespan.
I mean, I just don't remember.
Can I mention something that's kind of like tangentially related to how much shit the Wii U comes with? So back in the day when I would like go over to a friend's house and like all of us would get together and play games, I was usually the person that would provide the console because I had them. And taking the Wii U over to a friend's house is such a fucking pain in the ass. I had a gym bag for all of the shit that needed to go with it, because you have the system, the gamepad charger, the system, the fucking power cable, the HDMI cable, the sensor bar, other like 4 Wii remotes, and then also the external hard drive and the plug for the external hard drive.
Jeez. I will say, so that reminded me, I now remember why my gamepad screen broke, and it was partially because of that. I was just like you, and this was the first time this ever happened to me, by the way. I was the first person that that doesn't even look big enough to hold the gamepad, to be honest. I'm surprised. Like that looks just barely big enough to hold it. So I was the person that was providing the Wii U, so I had to bring mine everywhere. And that was especially because nobody else was going to buy a Wii U, but we all wanted to play Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was the only one out of my friends that bought a Wii U to play Smash Brothers with. Oh, also add GameCube controllers to that and the GameCube controller adapter.
Yep.
So yeah, fuck that.
So that it was a lot to bring, especially the gamepad. If you had to bring the gamepad, so like, yeah, it was quite a bit.
All right, and then some more games that I really liked on the Wii U. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
I'm surprised it took you a while to remember.
Little Inferno. I never left the topic. You guys jumped off. We've got, I said Little Inferno, right? Little Inferno. We've got SteamWorld Dig. What were some other really good ones? I'll come back to it. Don't worry.
So, now I know Landon has already shown his. Do you still have your Wii U, Jack?
Yeah, I do.
It's
in the other. I don't have it hooked up right now, but it's in the other room.
I will admit
Dave.
I will admit that I do not have my Wii U anymore. I basically I let my roommate that we had went half and half in on it just keep it, because I was like, I'm gonna get a Switch, so just keep the Wii U. I don't want it. So he has the Wii U now, and I will say, since we definitely had this system all for a very long time, so I'm sure not just like the games, but was there like any like core experience that you had with the Wii U that like you really like remember? Like, because I mean, Jack, you brought up bringing it to your friends to play with them, of course.
Yeah, we would play usually Smash for Wii U or Nintendo Land. We would play a lot of Nintendo Land, actually, but it was a lot of Smash for Wii U. And occasionally Mario Kart. But, I think my favorite memory from the Wii U was probably the Smash for Wii U launch, actually, because I went to GameStop at midnight to buy Smash for Wii U, Pokemon Omega Ruby, because that was out on the same day, and what was it, like a Marth amiibo and a GameCube controller adapter, and then that weekend, like, I didn't work that day. Me and 3 of my friends went to go visit one of my other friends who was at college. And we were, because this was like right before Thanksgiving, I think, and we were driving him home after that weekend. But anyway, we had there was 15 people in one college dorm that was playing Smash for Wii U the day it came out, and it was fun. And that was probably my favorite experience with the Wii U.
It's funny, I have the exact same experience. Well, not the exact same, but the same time frame. That is the big thing for me is I went and I got Super Smash Bros. For Wii U at launch, and I have said some of the details about that launch before, but I'll expand on them here. I got the Smash for Wii U, the GameCube controller adapter, and I got a special their GameCube controller they were selling for it with the Smash 4 logo. So they had that. So I did not actually get Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire at launch, and that was the first time I did not get a Pokemon game at launch since Pearl, or before Pearl, because I had gotten every game from Pearl onwards. Whatever I got it at launch day. But I was I'm doing a thing for Smash Wii U. I don't have the money for Pokemon, because not only was I getting those, I was hosting a party. So I had a bunch of friends over. We had snacks. I said that I did this for Smash Ultimate as well, but this was at a different house, but we did the same thing. That was actually why I wanted to do one for Smash Ultimate. It's because we had done one for Smash for Wii U, and it was a pretty big success. A lot of people joined up. We played a lot. It was all day. We had 8 or so controllers to pass around. So it was good times. It was good times. We had a whole table set up just to hold all of the controllers that people were going to be swapping between. That's how many controllers we had. Because we had I want to say 4 Wii remotes with classic controllers hooked up, and 4 GameCube controllers, and the gamepad if someone wanted to use that. It was insane.
Hell yeah. Landon?
No. Yes.
Do you have any fun core memories from the Wii U? I mean, you mentioned hanging out with your high school friends and playing Nintendo Land and shit. But anything else?
Yeah, the one time I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on digital content, and then my system died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a core memory.
Hey, I'll say another one. How about the fucking Summer of Ska?
Summer of Ska.
That Landon and I both worked. It was so good. Landon and I both worked second shift, and we would both get home late as fuck, and we would play Splatoon from midnight to 6 a.m. Every night for 3 months. And then it felt like every night anyway. We played it a shit ton.
Pretty close to every night, honestly. We got to the point where we were just in ranked just for fun.
Yeah.
So I'll say, let's jump into it. Splatoon, probably one of the biggest games the Wii U had. Period. Ended up starting its own franchise, as Jack mentioned.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker resents that. Okay.
All right.
Second biggest maybe.
Okay.
Splatoon.
So Splatoon, we all played a lot of Splatoon. These two definitely more than me, but we were all playing Splatoon for quite a while. Landon and his roller, man. Like, the goddamn roller.
It was the bucket ranked.
Yeah.
I did use the bucket in ranked, but as long as I didn't have to have precision aiming in Splatoon, I was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, you used the fucking crack-on roller.
Yep. I love the Kraken roller.
The Kraken was the best super in the
It was
first
so
game.
fun.
Yeah.
It was just fun to use. I didn't even care that it was great. It was just fun to use in that game.
It was like the one instance where like the thing Landon just felt like using actually was legitimately a really good like meta pick. He didn't pick it because of that. That's just what happened. Oh yeah, no. Like we played so much Splatoon though. Like who was like that guy that I did not get to like see you guys play that you constantly referred to? Because you had like you guys had a bunch of instances where this happened. Like it was just like people with super funny names.
We had two guys that we
Mario
constantly
Kart
called
8.
that. It was Mario Kart 8, the two that we usually refer back to, which is Rick Doob and Chris 24M.
Oh, that
Yeah.
guy. Okay.
Yeah,
those were
Chris
for 24M is probably like Chris 34M now.
But they were also like Mario Kart 8 was another one that we played just a fuck ton of.
Oh, absolutely.
Just online.
We still do, honestly. Just
not
in the other one.
Not this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the Mario Kart podcast and then I swore it off.
Forever.
Yeah, Mario Kart's dead.
Forever. I mean,
anyway,
Landon went on record and said that the best version of Mario Kart 8 is the Wii U version after the Mercedes-Benz update, before the actual DLC Wave 1 and 2 came out. So
I did say that once.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's
say that.
That's on record on a previous episode of our podcast. You can go check that out if you want. Or don't. You don't have to. Yeah,
or do. It's free.
Yeah, Splatoon was really cool because like it also integrated Miiverse, and Miiverse was like, oh my god, Miiverse, dude.
Miiverse was so fucking funny. I loved.
We have to talk about Miiverse because the 3DS had it, but the Wii U, come on, it was
definitely designed around the Wii U, and then they just added it to the 3DS because they had the technology, and it needed to be used.
Yeah, I agree. It was probably like just kind of like well, we got to make use of it.
Yeah. It was just, for those who don't know, Miiverse was basically a forum or a series of forums that you could connect to and interact with other humans on the internet.
Honestly,
on your Nintendo Wii U and Nintendo 3DS family systems of devices.
It was
true.
It was weirdly like an almost fusion of Reddit and 4chan specifically for the Wii U. And mostly for it's split by individual games. But people would talk about the most random shit on Miiverse.
It was both the most moderated and yet least moderated content available on the internet.
It really was.
There was
you had to be family friendly, but you could say some fucking shit like,
oh yeah,
I wish my mom and dad would stop beating me. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That would just
that'd
be featured in Splatoon.
Yeah,
that'd just go like
like you'd be walking around ink topless, and like you'd have like people's.
I wish my parents would stop fighting.
Yeah,
just shit. Or like in Super Mario 3D World, like you just run into a me on the fucking overworld, and it's like my dad beats me every night. It's like
this game is really great, but I wish my dad didn't leave me. Like it was just like the most unfiltered shit that just was getting around the censors.
I loved it. I love Miiverse.
It was the Wild West.
Miiverse.
I loved
it.
Miiverse is dead, but I love that they keep the spirit of Miiverse alive in Splatoon, where Splatoon has its own like in-game like Miiverse messages, and it acts the exact same way that the first Splatoon did.
Yeah.
It is true. Newer Splatoons do get a pass for that. That's about all they get.
It's not quite Miiverse, but it's close.
Nintendo, bring back Miiverse for the Switch too. That is how you sell the system.
Honestly, though.
I think it's funny that there's a lot of games that had Miiverse connectivity in one way. Mm-hmm. For instance,
yeah, it was a lot.
We were playing the Wind Waker HD, which has a dedicated message bottle item.
Yep.
And when you press it now, it gives you an error message.
Yep.
That's funny.
Super Mario 3D World, you unlock, like, collectibles in the game are stamps. Same with The Legend of Zelda, not Wind Waker, Twilight Princess HD, you collect Miiverse stamps.
Yep.
And you can no longer make use of them.
You could get, what was it, stickers? Was it stickers in Mario Kart 8? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like there was...
And like if you were playing definitely Super Mario 3D World, but maybe I think there was also Super Mario Brothers U. When you were on the world maps, there would be people also on the world maps that you could occasionally like run past, and their little Miiverse posts would just be popping up, so you could just see like whatever random shit someone decide to say while playing these games.
Yeah, so there was a lot of, but it's just like a lot of games had that dedicated stuff, and
it sucks because it's like it's one of those things that you know that one day it's not going to be supported anymore, but when the community is like just makes that feature so fun, it is something that just like makes the game just that much more enjoyable while you have it. Because you don't quite get that for most of the games on the Switch or any system, honestly, at this point. So like when they're able to integrate something like that, it can make some like really interesting stories. I definitely think that Miiverse was like one of like the coolest things about the Wii U that like is basically just hard to debate against. Like they made a whole social network for this system.
Yeah.
And they probably meant for the system carrying it to be a lot more successful, and we're developing it well before the system had come out. But, you know, just unfortunately things didn't pan out, so they killed Miiverse when they were getting rid of the Wii U as well, which is unfortunate. They really should just try to adapt it to the Switch. So the Wii U had a lot of things to offer that, like, we still don't see, like, on the Switch. Bring back the eShop from the Wii U. Bring back...
You know what the Wii U also featured that the Switch has yet to figure out? All right, everyone say it with me. On the count of 3.
1.
2. Or let's try.
Okay, hold on.
I'm going to start with 2. So I'm going to go with 2, and then I'm going to go 4, and then I'm going to say 1, and then we're going to say the thing.
Okay.
All right. 1. Folders.
Oh. I wasn't actually... I blanked. I was like, what?
It's folders.
I forgot the Wii U also had folders.
The Switch still does not have folders.
The Switch is still a failed system. Give me fucking folders.
The Switch has a sort of foldering system, but it doesn't have them the way that the Wii U and the 3DS did, which is worse on the Switch, to be honest. Like, that's undeniable.
It is.
It has what is called groups. Problem is, the folders on the 3DS and Wii U, they took precedent. They were as important as anything else you had on your menu. That is not the truth for the Switch. The Switch, you have to go all the way to the end of your home screen to access these groups. Once you get to the next screen where you see all your software, you can bring up the groups. So it's the same argument I made with the Wii U being clunky in some way. That is the Switch being clunky when the Wii U and with 3DS were not.
I hate it.
Yeah, so
make it go away. Sony, fix it, please.
Sony.
Thank you. Yeah, Sony. While you're updating the PS3, please fix the Switch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
by putting Sly Cooper on it.
So we talked about Splatoon. Landon, why don't you talk a little bit about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker? Because that is
You would make me talk, wouldn't you?
I would make you talk.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is the most fantastic puzzle platformer that'll ever grace your eyeballs, you son of a bitch. That's
Captain
right, I said it. I called you out.
Okay.
What?
Captain Chode's Pleasure Packer.
Yes, that
I forgot that was what you were calling it.
That's another name for it. Yeah.
That all you want to say about the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker?
I mean, what more is there to say? It is so fun. It's so full of charm. I mean, I wouldn't say it's one of the games that really take advantage of the Wii U's gamepad, but it does. It has a lot of the blow your fucking brains out with certain puzzles with the
blow your fucking brains.
Yeah, just start blowing into the fucking mic and then touch things on the gamepad. If you want a game that really uses the asymmetrical gameplay, Jack brought it up earlier. It's a little game called Pikmin 3. Name a better fucking game at asymmetrical gameplay where you are playing the game on a TV. You have a dedicated mini-map of everything that's happening on the gamepad. You are using the Wii remote and nunchuck for your actual gameplay, but you could do full control over the 3 different parties that are in Pikmin 3 at the touch of you could just pick a captain and tell them to go somewhere while you're dealing with one of the other ones. You could have so much, if you want a really fun real-time strategy setup, Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, I won't lie, I still haven't played the fucking game on the Switch.
Me neither.
But I have no reason to play it on the Switch because
it will be inferior.
I'm sure. I choose to believe it'll be inferior. And
I mean, that is a fair argument.
Not to jump into that.
That is a fair argument. And I think you might probably end up being able to elaborate on that after when we get to these questions. But I have a few questions I want to ask. But before we do that, I think this is probably the best time to take our little break for our little social shout outs and stuff like that. So anybody wants to get up and do that while I spew stuff.
I do have, after we do this, I do have one other asymmetrical game that is still only locked to the Wii U, and I'm sad I will never be able to play it again legally. So I'll get you back to that. That's a little teaser for after break time.
All right.
Meanwhile, break time.
So Landon's getting up. I'm gonna mention real quick though, just want to give a big thank you to everybody that's been tuning in to these podcasts. I don't really get to see the live viewers on Twitch, but I have seen the numbers for the uploads on YouTube at the very least. And I mean, we get more views on the podcast episodes usually than we typically have regular people that we talk to on Discord. So that means that there are people checking out our podcast. So I do want to give a thank you to everybody that's done that. If you are tuning in through YouTube, even if you don't tune in live to our Twitch streams, thank you anyway still for tuning in. Great to have you here. We definitely want to hear from you in the comments below. We have Discord, as we mentioned earlier, that you can join. Links in the description, show notes, wherever you're viewing or listening to this. You've got elsewhere on Twitch, we are doing streams. Right now, we've got a Pokemon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke. Jack, if you wanted to talk a little bit about that for a second or two.
The Pokemon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke is still going. We are still on the first attempt. We are right before the 8th gym. And we just finished all the story bits with Team Aqua and Team Magma, and I beat Tate and Liza with 0 intentional deaths, or 0 unintentional deaths.
Okay, so you sacked on purpose to get through it?
I sacked. You'll see. I mean, I kind of don't want to spoil it, but also it's literally the first thing I do is I used an electrode to use self-destruct on Xatu and Claydol to start the fight.
That's
and then had Swampert use Protect.
That's good.
And it just took out the Zatu right away, and it put the clay doll like in super low yellow health, which was low enough for them to not heal. But
and then you could just surf the next turn, right?
Yeah.
So no, that's good. That's smart. As well as the Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke, we are actually playing Landon's created game with RPG Maker called Lexine's Quest, a certain generic RPG. We've done 3 streams of it so far. We've gotten pretty far. Unfortunately, the last stream got cut off randomly in the middle because I had a power outage. But we're going to be doing more streams for that over the next couple weeks, regularly, mostly basically Tuesdays and Fridays. So we're going to see how long that takes to get through. And Landon has also been playing Dragon Quest Monsters for Game Boy Color, and he's been doing that mostly every Saturday. So you can catch sessions for all 3 of those games on Twitch as well. We want to give a thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. You guys help make the show happen with your funding so that we can get it out to more platforms. And also, we have polls where you can vote on what you want us to do next. There is a poll going on right now to decide what one of our next podcast topics is gonna be. So, go check that out. We also want to thank specifically Pixel Vixen. They've been a Gold Stooge tier on our Patreon for quite a few months now. And if you are a Gold Stooge, you get access to extra content from us that we do every month. And this month, we did a Kirby tax alignment chart, meaning what Kirby characters know taxes, whether they pay them. And it's a pretty fun episode that was a little different, if I may say so. And we've got a really cool idea for next month's exclusive. So if you're interested in that, I think you should bump up your tier for a month or two and just see what there is to offer, because we got a lot. So let's jump back into our podcast. But before we do that, Landon usually likes to get a nice mid-podcast snack. So let's hear what we got for the dessert today.
Hi, yeah, so I have my dinner, which is what Jack wanted, and I flipped him off.
It's a big taco bowl.
It is a giant taco salad.
You have a Jarritos, too.
I do have a Jarritos.
Is that Mandarin? Yeah,
yes.
Good answer, Steve.
Good answer, Steve.
Now, we didn't explicitly say it in the podcast last week, but I want to put it on record for those who do the audio-only podcast. I did eat Tillamook ice cream. I had more vanilla last week, or last podcast. I want that on the record.
Thank you for filling us back in.
If you're new to the podcast, this is important because this is a running thing. So we have to clear the air on this.
I want to make it the record, put the record straight. This week,
yep,
I have one that Al probably wouldn't like. It is chocolate peanut butter.
I had that one. That's a good one.
This is a good one.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a super good one. I love that one. It is so chocolatey and peanut buttery. It's so much.
Look at that.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
So
Look at
good.
that peanut butter. That's peanut butter right there. That's a huge chunk of just peanut butter.
Delicious.
Love that flavor. It's so good.
Anyway, so back to what I was saying before I rudely cut us off.
No, you're good. Go ahead and go back to what you were telling us, and then we'll go around for a few last questions.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. I've had my one spoonful. I have to have dinner before I can eat more of this, though. Okay, so asymmetrical gameplay. It's probably... It's the thing about the Wii U that they attempted to market, but it's really hard to, market.
It's hard to make that, easily digestible to consumers, especially where most of the time you're advertising with small images, singular images or 30-second ads.
Yes. I remember watching, having ads play while I was working at the time and for the Wii U, and it was just oh. And this was before when the Wii U was just coming out. And I was just like, oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, so I felt like that before it came out, so... yeah. But there is some other genuine, experiences with it. Obviously, before break, we talked about Pikmin 3. Another fun one we've talked about is Nintendo Land. That game has a lot of fun different ways you can play with the gamepad. Mario Chase is the big one because you can have 4 people using the Wiimote. One person uses the Wiimote. They can see everything. They can see where all the other people are. Gamepad. And they're just trying to run and avoid those other people, while everyone else just gets the TV screen. It's like a very fun way to play hide and seek. That's what Mario Chase is.
That's kind of interesting because that was before the genre of one versus many games ended up taking off too.
Yeah, it's the
Wii U had potential to do good things with that sort of genre.
Yeah. One game that I mentioned, it's still stuck to the Wii U. It is yet to get re-released. Is a game called Affordable Space Adventure. I mentioned it slightly earlier. But the concept is, I think up to 3 people control different aspects of a spaceship. So you can play single player, but it's better multiplayer because then you can focus on your aspect of the ship, and you're trying to navigate it through a very, very deadly planet with taking minimal damage. But so someone would take control over navigation, someone could take control over different other aspects of the ship. It was super fun. I played a bit of it, and even though I played it single player, it was still a very interesting take on something you could do with the system if you really dedicated yourself to building a game for the Wii U. And so I just wanted to give it a little bit more of a shout out. I'm sure anyone at this point who knows about the Wii U has heard about that game. I'm not treading new ground when I'm talking about it, but it's one of the few games that is still an experience to it. That was really fun.
So building off of that, let's get into some of our final questions, and let's start with a positive one. What is one of the biggest things about the Wii U that you think is a positive for it, something that's a strength to it? Landon, I'm not going to say that you can't say anything else on top of that, but you did mention asymmetrical gameplay. Jack, do you have anything that you want to add on top of that?
I will say the gamepad is very comfortable to use. As considering that it is the main controller for the system, you'd think just from looking at it that it'd be super bulky and really kind of awkward to use, but no, it's lighter than it looks. It's really comfy to hold in your hand, and I could play any game on that for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah,
and I would still be fine.
I would definitely say to clarify one thing, something that I made earlier. When I say that the system was clunky to use, I don't mean the controller physically, because
I know.
Because I'm not saying that for you. I'm saying that for the audience. To just clarify, the gamepad is comfortable, so it's not it's not the weight, the physicality that is the issue. It's just the interface. But yeah, I agree. To add something else, I think that's a positive. I had talked about it and praised it earlier, but I do think the Wii U's online infrastructure, how it's laid out, what you can do with it, is still probably the strongest that Nintendo's ever done. I'm not saying that the Switch is bad, but it is not good compared to the Wii U or the Switch's own competitors. The 3DS was closer in quality to the Wii U on that front, but I think that the Wii U, being a home console, it was really able to, Miiverse, eShop, all of the online like channels and stuff that you could use, because it did have some aspects. The way that their games played online, especially the first party ones, they weren't like groundbreaking, but like this is when you had proper online that like functioned well for Super Smash Brothers, because Brawl was not good. Mario Kart 8's online was, I would say, pretty solid. Splatoon like was a big defining game that had online functionality as a like very integral part of the game. So like the Wii U, I think, has a strong case of being like Nintendo's best foray into online connectivity features. So that would probably be, I think, what I would say is something that the Wii U had that was a really big strength. But Landon, did you have anything on top of like the asymmetrical gameplay aspect that you wanted to drop in as like a big thing about the Wii U that was good?
It was the last bastion for Virtual Console.
True.
It added a bunch of like systems that it'll probably be a very long time before we see ever again. Like DS. It could play DS games, which was fucking badass. It brought, GBA as like a full suite. Yes, 3DS had the Ambassador games, but like you could buy more than that now.
Yeah, you could buy full 3DS games, or not 3DS, GBA games on Wii U. So it was an actual Virtual Console.
Yeah. And, it had a bunch of other systems.
All the stuff that the Wii had, basically, right?
Basically, a lot of that carried over. Not all of it, but a lot of it carried over. And even if you bought it on the Wii, they gave you discounts to the upgrade version for the Wii U. And they improved the Virtual Console because it actually gave you the ability to save state with the Wii U version over the Wii. Which I know the 3DS did first, but like that was like the big incentive for doing an upgrade from the Wii to the Wii U version if you did a transfer. So there's like some other like system IO stuff. And then I think the biggest thing that the Wii U brought to the table, the biggest positive, is it had that the chat app that you could do like basically FaceTiming with people.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they had. Yeah. I forgot that
super
they had
like the biggest part of the whole system. I think millions used it.
Was that it had its own Skype variant?
It you could FaceTime your grandfather on the Wii U.
Great. I wanted to build off one of the things you said, and I do have to agree that the Wii U had very robust backwards compatibility. Like, it also, to build off of you talking about the Virtual Console, the Wii games also, just by virtue of the Wii U being an HD console and the Wii was not, you also got like technically visual upgrades to all of your Wii games because you'd have them running off the HDMI that's on the Wii U. So you had that plus the Virtual Console. So like if you were playing, like, yeah, you didn't have GameCube support because there was no GameCube support built in, and they didn't sell the GameCube games separately. But for all of the backwards compatibility you did have, there was a lot, and there was a lot of support for it, and it ran really well. So like, it was a great system for that sort of thing. I do want to ask, what would you think is one of the biggest shortcomings that you wish could have been better, or just could have been like just like something that could have been addressed and fixed if it was more like a problem and not just a shortcoming with the system? Like something that you just wish was improved.
Can I say the marketing? Because let's be real. I don't know, honestly. I mean, like, in terms of the console itself, I wish it was like more condensed, like, not, just all the shit that goes with it. Like, I understand, like, it's a lot of parts to a pretty complicated system, but like, there's so many fucking wires and pieces that go into it, and you're almost certainly gonna need to have a fucking external hard drive. You know what? I'm gonna say the hard drive size, because 32 gigabytes is like unacceptably small for being like the biggest console size you have.
So yeah, if I may build off of that, that's literally what I was going to get into, is that I just think that the system could have been more streamlined and more just focused in what its intent was. So I think that there's a couple of things. So we didn't get into it, but it is a big thing that the Wii U was the first system where they really went heavy on the amiibo, and the amiibo being these like functional toys that you could scan onto your games and get bonus content. And there's a lot of different games that you could do this with. And they even back updated games that were out before the amiibo and added amiibo in functionality into them. Like there was select games for that. And so that is something I think would stay, but I do think that there's certain features that they could have stripped down or taken out of the Wii U, and or the gamepad specifically. And then I just wish that the Wii U was made a bit more powerful, so that it could handle some of the more intensive games that it was getting at points, and just kind of like be a little bit more direct with what the system was intended for, because it had a lot of potential. I think that if they were more focused with what they were doing with the Wii U, the Wii U had potential to be a much better system than it ended up being. I think like it's not the case where like they put like the Nintendo put out bad hardware and the system was just bad because of that. Like this isn't like one of those cases. They put out good hardware that they didn't have a good message for, a good through line for. So I think that's my major complaint.
It kind of lacked an identity.
But like
Landon?
Huh?
Do you think the Wii U had any shortcomings?
No, it was a perfect system. No notes. It had Paper Mario and Captain Toad and Runner 2.
It had... you know what? It did have Paper Mario, actually.
It had Paper Mario. And I'm not even talking about the unique Paper Mario for it.
Yep.
No, he's just talking about the N64 original
Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
that's all it needs.
It just needed those 3 games.
You could play Paper Mario on the jam pad.
You could play Paper Mario on the jam pad in your PJs. What more?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, oh god, the Wii U. I don't know. There's like a lot. I don't know how. I assume the architecture for developing it for it was fine because there was a lot of third-party support from indies, who were like making like versions for also PlayStation and Xbox at the same time. So I don't know if it's like if the architecture was hard to develop for, but I think it was just like it was definitely a system power thing as to why we didn't get like certain games like brought over to it that were on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Because by the time we got the PS4 and Xbox One, they were much more powerful systems. So even games like Call of Duty Ghosts, which came out for all 3 systems, there was a bit of a... I wouldn't say it was necessarily just the Wii U's fault, but the developers and publishers were definitely seeing like there was some sort of some kind of like choke point that was just making it harder to do multi-platform stuff with the system.
Well, Ghost came out for PS3 and 360.
Yeah, so
they
were making it with like everything in mind. But that
so as long as they were
less and less.
Yeah, as long as they were developing it with that generation in mind,
right? Then
the Wii U could potentially run it. Same with like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs came out for the Wii U. And, you know, because it was also being developed for PS3 and 360.
Yeah, so it was like once they started leaving that previous console generation behind, it became less of whether we would be able to get games on the Wii U or not. So
God, imagine Dragon Ball Xenoverse for the Nintendo Wii U.
Yo!
Oh my god. If only.
If only.
That was one of the first games that I went out of my way to purchase for the PS4 because it was not coming to the Wii U because I I was damn.
That's why I got a PS4, but like for the sequel, not the first one, because I was the idiot that got Xenoverse on PS3.
It's so gross. Why do you exist?
Yeah, I own a PS3. Yeah, I own Xenoverse. We exist.
You broke bitch.
Yeah.
You know, I could say I played Breath of the Wild for the Wii U, but that game actually runs on that system.
Yeah. It actually runs decently
It's
well.
fine.
I was going to say, Dragon Ball Xenoverse on PS3 legitimately feels like it's running at sub 30 FPS most of the time.
Yeah. So, like, there's like some of those games that you're just like, why is this on this?
Yeah.
And that's one of those. That's just one of those games.
It's because the PS3 was doing well. They just wanted to have more sales.
I mean, it's the same reason why the PS4 still gets fucking ports, and the Xbox One, like, sometimes the Xbox One doesn't even get there's sometimes that they don't bother making an Xbox One exclusive version a lot of times. Well, they'll make a PS4, I feel, but, you know, we're almost at the end of that anyway. So, but yeah, I would say, like, it's just, like, if it was, like, a little bit more powerful at the time, because, 2011, 2012, when was it? 2012? Yeah, they could have...
It was the year before the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came out.
They easily could have, like, done, like, a little bit of, like, a spec upgrade. Or a console revision at some point for the Wii U to, like, give it a Wii U Pro. I know that's not popular with Nintendo's, like, home consoles systems where they do that. They usually just do the one and done in a lot of cases. But, like, that would have been... So, I mean, by the point that would have happened, like, the Wii U was out the door, like, sales-wise, so there's no point. But you never know.
My final question is pretty simple. Just a quick yes or no and why. Do you think that the Wii U was necessary to exist in order for the Switch to exist as it does?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to hear like your reasonings as to why. I'm mostly on the yes as well. So like we're pretty much all in agreement. I mean, I would say my reason was basically just because like so Nintendo is the type that, unlike other companies, this is kind of weird, they don't rest on their laurels if they do well with something. If they do well with something, they will deliberately try to do something different the next time to make sure that they're doing something new that is interesting enough for people to want to try. That is why we get projects like the Wii U. That is why we get stuff like the Wii, the DS. Like, a lot of the systems that they make, they try to do something different when it does well, because they want to make sure that people will stay engaged and not just grow tired of whatever the product is. The Wii U, the reason why the Switch exists as it does is because the Wii U did not do as well as they wanted. So rather than do something totally new, they had that ability to be like, okay, what can we use from this? And what can we do to make it better? And what can we do to realize the vision we were actually really going for? And that's actually basically what happened with like a much shorter time span, of course, between the Virtual Boy and the 3DS. They always wanted to do glasses-free portable gaming, and the Virtual Boy bombed, and the 3DS became how they managed to get it right. Like, that is how they did the same thing with the Wii U into the Switch, is that they had an idea that they wanted to do, and they managed to focus in on what that one thing was and get it right in a way that like more people would be appealed to actually get the system and, you know, get engaged with it. So I think that is...
I don't 100% agree with that, only because the biggest aspect of the Wii U was its asymmetrical gameplay, which they 100% dropped when they went to the Switch, because it's not like, you don't have that like...
I mean, my argument was more for the off-TV play, because that was like a big thing that they had.
No.
But, yeah.
That I was going to go back and then agree with, but I feel like they marketed the off-TV gameplay quite a bit with the Wii U, but I don't think that was 100% the purpose of the Wii U.
Yeah. And I think that is part of like what the problem with the Wii U is that it's hard. What is the Wii U supposed to be? It's hard to question, right? Because it's doing a lot.
I think at the heart of it, the Wii U is made for asymmetrical gameplay. And because of that, it had off TV, like an off TV mode.
Okay.
Because that is like kind of related. But that's the part that Nintendo took and put into the Switch and then made money with, which, that's fine. Not to say that they didn't recycle ideas from the Wii U, but I think the biggest selling point of the Wii U was not the part that they recycled, like glasses-free 3D from the Virtual Boy to the 3DS.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. Jack, did you want to like come in with a different angle on this one, or add to something that one of us said?
I don't know. I feel like, just to add a little bit, I feel like the Wii U was something where obviously they had like a vision, and Nintendo, but I feel like Nintendo also like had a desire to get into, like, to dip into the third party market, because I'm pretty sure they realized that the Wii's third party output, while good, they didn't get a lot of the shit that the other consoles were getting, or at the very least they were like neutered version of those other versions.
Yeah.
And Nintendo hadn't been in the third party market since the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Realistically,
that is a very good point. Keep going.
And they wanted to get back into that. They tried, and it didn't work out. And I think they kind of realized that, like, performance on the console should be, like, secondary to, like, making the console, like, appealing to consumers, I guess.
And developers.
Because, like, the Switch, it just feels like a more realized Wii U. Like, obviously the Wii U was its own thing, and it had its own, like, unique gameplay style to it, but I feel like the Switch was just, like, a more fully realized idea that's kind of built on what they were going for with the Wii U, but,
and, like,
they tweaked it.
And third parties were really able to, like, jump on the Switch a lot easier than the Wii U, which was already better for them than previous consoles, despite the Wii U's failure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and, like, obviously the Switch is not a very strong system, but who cares? Because it has a lot of great games on it.
It has enough for most developers to work with it, and that's the important part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the Wii U was, like, just about there, so it was yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I think that's right. I will say, I think that to build on that, last point I wanted to add is that I do think that Landon does raise a good point that it wasn't, that I want to build off of, is that it probably wasn't just the Wii U that gave us the Switch, but it was a big factor. But the reason the Switch exists is because they were condensing both their home and their portable markets together, and I think them having the Wii U financially not do well, and the 3DS, while it did decently well, it was definitely less successful than both of the previous systems that had come before or come after. So I do think that I think we are all in agreement, the Wii U was necessary for the Switch to exist, but it also, as Landon was alluding to, it is not the only reason. There is more reasons why the Switch exists than just whatever one reason that some people have brought up in the past.
It definitely, and this was, like, part of it, is they wanted to simplify their development cycles. So, like, their teams were a little bit more aligned rather than, like, being a little bit more spread out. Like, you're only working on home console garbage. You're working on handheld game console garbage. And so, like, they just, like, you guys work on the same there's one system now. There's not multiple like dev kits running around the world.
It's not you're making this game for this system. It's you're making this game. Period.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's about right. Was there any last minute things we want to mention? Because I think we've done a really good job covering everything. Just about. If there's nothing to add, we can just jump into some final catch-ups if Landon is so inclined.
I mean, yes. I can't think of anything else to add myself.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So
I think as far as Wii U discussions,
how have we all been? What have we been up to? We haven't really been able to talk too much about this lately because of the last few episodes being pretty big.
Jack, where'd you get that hat? It's so...
This hat
awesome.
that I got, it is awesome. It's hard to read because it's fucking brown font on Realtree background, but I got it from the... Here, hold on, let me take it off.
He's like, I don't remember the name. I have to take it off so I can read it.
No, I remember it. It's Muscatatuck, but I wanted to put it up for the camera.
Okay.
The Muscatatuck National Wildlife Refuge in southeastern Indiana.
And you guys did talk about your big trip around going to different places.
We did talk about the trip last time, so that's...
But not that place in particular, and not your hat in particular. That's
True.
Where they got attacked by bugs. It was badass.
Oh my god. That was where I got attacked by bugs. It was...
Like, worse than the dunes that he had mentioned? Like...
Oh my god. Like, it was... We literally put on bug spray before we went on that trail, and there was, like, flies just bumping into my face or, like, flying around my ears the entire time.
It was awesome to watch.
Because Landon had a nice, like, hat that covered his ears and eyes a little bit. And...
Was it a fedora?
No.
It was not.
That doesn't cover your ears and eyes.
No. It was like an outdoorsy, like, hiking hat.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you would call it.
Hey, listen, if you tip the fedora down enough, you can make it work.
Sure.
Still wouldn't cover your ears.
Yeah.
Not fully. Yeah.
You would need 2 Doras for that.
But what if I had 4 Doras?
Yeah. There it is.
Now that would be...
There it is.
That would be extreme.
Okay.
Anything else to add?
I mean, I haven't been up to too much. I got a tattoo the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
You did post it on the Discord.
Hold on. I did post it in the Discord. I only mentioned it offhand.
Is that your first tattoo?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
I only mentioned it offhand in the Pokemon Emerald stream, and that was pretty much it. I was like, I got a tattoo today.
That's pretty cool.
And that was it. Here, hold on. I'll hold it up for the camera.
That is pretty cool. This is a momentous thing. Your first tattoo.
It's the Boognish. Google Boognish, and you'll see.
All right.
And listen to Ween.
Of course.
But that's about it.
I've actually been up to quite a bit because I wasn't really able to share too much. What I was up to wasn't nearly as interesting or like expansive as what they were doing last time that we talked. So I decided to wait till now. But I've been playing through the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. That's been like my big thing for the past like several weeks. I played through Final Fantasy 2 for the very first time, Final Fantasy 4 for the very first time, Final Fantasy 5 for the very first time, and I'm going through Final Fantasy 6 for the very first time.
You cleared through those fucking fast.
So I have a few small complaints about the Pixel remasters, but one thing I love about them is that they are so streamlined because they give you toggles for the experience and gil and like ability point payouts. You can turn off encounters whenever you want. So if you want to just get from point A to point B, you can just turn the encounters off.
That's nice.
They retained the feature that's been present since the PlayStation versions where you can dash all over everywhere. So it's just very streamlined. You can make the game a lot easier, more breezy for you. And I love the retro aesthetic settings that you can have for the games. They do have new orchestrated soundtracks. I don't listen to them. I don't think they're bad. I'm playing retro games. I like the retro soundtracks, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I want the original soundtracks for sure.
And coupled with that, they have like an old school CRT filter style visual, and they don't just throw scan lines over it. Like, they make it simulate like it's a CRT. Like, the CRTs back in the day, you know how they had, like, blue and pink tints to,
yeah.
The games do that. They actually emulate having that. And they blur the visual enough so it actually blends and looks like it's a CRT visual. Like, it's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, obviously they're not the most clear visuals when you use those, but dude, it looks so much better than just having like dry, high quality pixels, because like everything's blended. You can really see what they were going for with the vision. It's so good. So like, I love having the retro settings on, plus the retro font they have for the console versions. Super nice. That, and I've been working on my own RPG in RPG Maker. I've been going on and off.
Plug.
Yeah, plug. I just got really, honestly, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters just really motivated me to get back to that, so I did. And then it also motivated me to play Landon's game, so I am. So it's been really getting me into more retro. I've honestly been just kind of on this like more retro inspired or retro RPG kick lately. And it basically started all the way back with like Phantasy Star 4 and Golden Sun, and like it just segued into like, you know, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, Bravely Default, like all this other stuff. And it's still going. Like I'm going through a phase, Mom. Eventually I'll get out of it.
I don't think so. No, I think this
no
is
need.
Like,
this is permanent.
It's just my life now.
Can a phase be your entire life?
I'm just retro RPG guy now. Join me next time when I talk about Breath of Fire.
But Cloud, you're supposed to be the cart guy.
I am.
What happened to the cart video?
Oh God.
Yeah, what the fuck? What happened to the vision?
I will get to it. I have been collecting games. I just need to get more to the kart racers again. Like
the patron. The one patron
wants
to see it.
Wants it. I do got to get back to it. I got more kart racers to get to. But
and there's fucking freeloaders. What?
Landon, I'm going to kick it to you. Anything new?
I beat Sea of Stars last night.
You did say you beat Sea of Stars last night.
Yeah,
how was it?
I got the true ending. Sea of Stars or the stream I was supposed to be in?
The game.
Oh, okay.
He was playing Sea of Stars through the entire Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke stream last night, which is fine because it's not like we were doing much yesterday.
I did help.
It was a lot. You did help. It was mostly a filler episode though, which is ironic because it's the part of the game that has the most like story and cutscenes, but there was no gym battles. So
yeah, but I helped with we had a couple fights, and so I helped with the prep with that. But Sea of Stars is fucking good. Like, really good. Anyone who's said, like, stuff about it, it's like, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I gotta get to it.
So something you will enjoy about it is, in-game, they're called relics, but they are basically toggles for different game settings, so you can change aspects of the difficulty for the game.
Nice.
Yeah, so some of them you have to unlock. Like, there is, for harder difficulty, one where you lose 95% of your HP for all characters, but if you do well at the time prompts, like, you basically take minimal damage, like 1 point of damage.
Oh wow, so you have like almost like an action aspect where it's kind of like a Kingdom Hearts has a critical mode that's kind of similar to that, where like your HP is cut down, and it's more about like actually mastering how to not take damage at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But like, even without basically turning on any of the stuff, like, I had a really good time. It took me about 35 hours to play through everything for the true ending. And to get the true ending, it didn't add a whole lot of extra stuff. As long as you like keep up on collecting the rainbow conches as you play, there's like 4 extra bosses that you can take on. And technically, you can fight all of those extra bosses before you get the ending anyway. So there's like one thing that is specific to the post game.
All right.
So, but it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend Sea of Stars. Even if you have not played The Messenger, you do not have to worry about that. There is like there's like some tie-ins to The Messenger. Sabotage Games worked on The Messenger first. It is also a really fantastic game. But they are fairly separate in terms of like what's happening. So like the story disconnected, but there is some fun ties to both.
Would you say it's like kind of like the same level of separation as like Chrono Trigger versus Chrono Cross?
I think in the long run, yes, they are set in the same universe. If you have played one and then you go to the other, you can tell. I don't want to say anything,
Yeah.
So I'm being very vague about it.
But it is one of those things where, like, while they have tie-ins, they are not so plot dependent that they have to both be played like back to back or something like that.
Correct.
You can enjoy each individually for what they are.
Yes, and I mean The Messenger is made like that because it was made first, and so it's the introduction of the universe. But Sea of Stars is made in a way that you can just play that and you'll be fine.
Okay, that's good.
Like I said, there's a little bit of a tie-in. None of the story. I take that back. There's a little bit of a tie-in. There's
nothing
some
important
stuff
enough.
Nothing that can deter
Contextual.
someone. Yes, yeah. You might question what happens to some characters. That's about it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else new that you want to throw out there, or are we good to go?
That's pretty much it. I think the only thing I did not mention... Oh, wait, I beat New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
We're playing through that.
Hell yeah.
Fuck the special world. Yeah, fuck the special world.
No World 9.
Fuck World 9. Maybe if I was playing multiplayer, I would give a shit, but... No mid... We'll grill... Like, we are going to have a 2D Mario...
you can grill on that
podcast.
game as much as you want there.
But all I have to say is no midpoint like checkpoints in the special world for that game. That is fucked.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
You didn't even get to 9-7.
I did. That's
the fun one.
I was only playing 9-1 and I died over 20 times and I'm like, I'm done.
I think I barely scraped by 9-1 and then I gave up on 9-2. I didn't even get the star coins all in 9-1. I think I only got 1 or 2 and I was like, I don't think I'm getting through this. Nope.
I think 2 separate times I had all 3 star coins in 9-1 and died. And I was like, this is fuck. This is absolute fuck.
This is fuck.
This
is fuck.
I do not want to. I cannot deal with this. So
yeah. Since you probably won't get to it, I guess I can spoil 9-7 for you. So the entire deal with the level, or the entire gimmick of the level, is that it's all ice. Like, and by ice I mean like ice blocks, and the only enemies are fire-breathing piranha plants.
In the ice blocks.
But there's a fuckload of them.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
that's some Mario Maker bullshit.
Yeah, so like
it really
there's
is.
literally no safe space
fucked.
to stand anywhere in the entire level. You have to keep moving.
I mean, I don't remember exactly if that's the case or not. It's been a while, but like it's fucked.
There's also a star coin that requires you to go underneath the platforms and then make it back up over.
Yeah.
It's really dumb.
Fuck that game.
Yeah.
Fuck 3 of the 4 new Super Mario Brothers games. That's all I have to say.
Which one's the one that you say is good? New Super Mario Brothers U?
I enjoyed playing that one.
The one that was on the Wii U. There you have it, folks. That's
there
our
you go,
show.
folks.
We'll see you next time. Roll the outro. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!